Welcome back to That Dad Guy. It's September the 10th, 2022, and it's day for That Dad Guy Answers, which is when I answer your questions from the weeks before video. So remember, at the end of this video, leave your comment and leave your question so I can answer it for next week. That'll be great. So I appreciate that. Part 31 today, so we've been doing this for 31 weeks straight, other than I took 1 week off when I was in Montreal there. I didn't put one out. So, yeah. Been going pretty well. So thank you for all the varied topics and everything that you request and comment on. I appreciate it so much. It makes these videos go a lot better and gives me something to think about during the week as I see the questions pop up. So before I get into that, I've also started a request for a new video. I want to do a Queen Elizabeth II tribute video, a celebration of her life that I'm going to put out in short time frame. So I'd like to have it for her funeral, which is in like 8 days or 9 days at this point in time. So I'm going to leave my email address in the description of this video, but it's robertlennox@gmail.com. And what I'm asking is that you send a picture or videos of things that mean something to you from the Queen. It might be postcards, it might be stamps, it could be a coffee cup or a tea towel. Who knows what it is that's important to you. So you could send pictures of that, or you could do a 1 minute short video, just no more than a minute, could be less than that. Introduce what country you're from, so I know that for the video, and what the Queen meant to you. So I want to put that together and show that people from around the world have been thinking about her and she's made an impact on their lives. So once again, email that to me at robertlennox@gmail.com, and even in the header you can put Queen Tribute or something like that so it sticks out for me. So thank you in advance for doing that. I already had a couple submissions come in, so the more that can come in right now, the quicker I can put it together and it will be ready to go for that day. All right, let's kind of get to the questions today. So the first one I have comes from Basil in India, and he has questions regarding birthdays. So he says that his birthday is coming up, which I saw a post that he put on Instagram. So I want to say happy birthday, Basil, because I believe it is already your birthday. So thank you for that, and hope you have a good birthday. So his question is, I would like to know how life and celebrations have evolved through the years on your birthday, from as far back as you can remember to the last one. And then the follow-up question was, which has been the most memorable and most unique? All right, so my birthdays, of course, started as a child. And as a child, my parents would have friends over. That's what I remember. We would have a homemade birthday cake. There might be some games that had, but just my friends hanging out, having food and having a nice cake that my mother would prepare. Usually a chocolate cake. That's kind of been the standard ones that she would make. And then as I got a little bit older, my group of friends kind of narrowed a bit, and sometimes we would rent Nintendo systems or something when the game systems came out, or maybe it was around our Commodore 64, or my Atom computer and ColecoVision. That's kind of the early gaming systems that I had. So probably 3 or 4 of us would have a sleepover, and we'd play games all night. We would rent movies, so we'd go to the video store and get a few movies to keep us going through the night, and that would be what the birthday parties evolved into. And then as I got into university, birthdays really weren't such a big thing anymore. You just kind of got another year older, and when it was just my wife and I, we would probably go out for supper before kids and have a birthday that way, and there'd be some celebrations. That I do have one unique gift that my wife did provide me, and that's what I will talk about that in a minute. But yeah, then birthdays just now are almost like another day of the week. So sometimes there's presents and things that come in. There's usually cards that arrive in the mail, especially I got cards from my mother and my in-laws. I usually give cards, so I appreciate that when they come in. My kids would make handmade cards each year, so I always treasured those things, memories of the different style cards that both of them make. Yeah, but now it's usually just, is there something you want to go do for your birthday? That's kind of the question we have, and I don't really know if I want anything particularly different. The day that we have our wedding anniversary, that's the day we go out and find a nice restaurant and go. Usually birthday restaurants are not something super fancy, but I don't know, just a stage of getting older, I guess. So as you have more and more birthdays, you don't seem to celebrate them as much, or at least I don't seem to celebrate them as much, at least that day. I'm very appreciative of having each one of them, and I keep going, so that's always good. But yeah, and now as far as memorable or most unique, I would say when my wife gave me a flying lesson. So we were living in Vancouver at the time. She went out and researched this, and we had an hour flying lesson. So we had, I think I was like, I don't know, 25 years old or something at the time. And our pilot, I think, was 18. He was just a young guy. We had a little tiny plane that my wife sat in the back, and I and the pilot sat in the front. And off we went up over Vancouver, and I got a chance to take a hold of the wheel and steer it around. He told me what to do, and then even helped me in on a landing. So I wouldn't say I landed the plane by myself. That would be a far stretch and it would be very unsafe. But he did let me hold the controls and come in, so it felt like I was doing some of the work at least. But very a memorable experience to be able to fly over Vancouver and see the downtown and see the perspective of where we live. And yeah, really enjoyed that. It sticks out a lot. So I thank my wife a lot for giving me that experience. Being a pilot was something I wanted to do for a long time. Never did do it, but that was a memorable experience. And yeah, probably the most unique. I can't think of a time. Now, my birthday is coming up in October. We're very close, I guess, so almost a month away. But it falls on Canadian Thanksgiving sometimes, so sometimes it's a holiday on my birthday and sometimes it isn't, but that's sometimes memorable when you kind of get an extra day off from work to celebrate my birthday. So that's what I got for that question, so thank you, Basil, for that, and I hope you have a happy birthday as well. All right, my next question comes from Wendy. She says, what is that black and white aerial shot of the photo you have in your office, and why is it there? All right, so this is Domtar paper on Annacis Island, or at least it was at the time of the shooting of this picture. So here is Domtar's main office and storage area for their paper. This is the paper plant and the mill here in the background. And so I worked there when I worked here when I was living out in Vancouver. And about a month after I got the job there, I was working in the customer service department at the time, and then I moved over to scheduling after that. But they needed someone in the trucking department, the shipping, and so they hired my wife. So we both worked at this plant for our duration while we lived in Vancouver. I worked in a little office here when I was in scheduling, and before I worked over here in the main office, well, right here in the main office actually, because this is where the trucks go in. This is where all the storage of all the paper is, and then the two paper plants are in this area here. So all these buildings here are Domtar paper. Now, I don't believe Domtar is there anymore, but it might be another company that runs it. They were kind of going out of business when we left Vancouver. That is why that picture is there. It is a reminder of a time when we lived out in Vancouver and where we worked at the time. I was able to procure that from my office when I left. They let me take that with me, so I was great for that. All right, she also says, maybe you've answered this before but can't remember what you said. Do you categorize your postcards you receive, for example? Do you have all the cards that you have, like in Blue Cat form or all that together? So I have answered it before, but not on that Dad Guy Answers. I've shown you videos of it. So this is what I do. I put them in binders. I have a whole bunch of binders here as well. And they are just in as I receive them. So they're not categorized. The only way I break them apart is that I have the cards that come in as officials. My official cards are in here, and another 2 or 3 binders, and all my direct swaps are in binders like this. Because I get a lot more direct swaps than I do officials, I have 3 binders, I think, big binders filled with those, and they are all just based on when they come in. So I'm not sure if I'm going to continue doing that or if I will start sorting them now as countries. I know some people do that, put them all together in countries and put them in a standing tower or something or other to have them But right now I just like to have the book that I can just flip through these pages too. You can put 2 cards or you can put 4 cards, depending if you don't want to see the stamps and the writing on the back. You can have the back side set up. You can slide another card back there. But I like to be able to see the stamps and what people wrote. So I put 2 cards in each sheet. And when I got back from vacation, I didn't have any sheets left, so I'm waiting for more to arrive so I can put away all the cards that I've gotten in the last 3 weeks. So hopefully they'll come next week. So that's kind of how I organize them. It's an evolutionary process, so things are subject to change, and I'm not saying I'll always do it this way. When I look at people like Caroline in France, having sent, I don't know, 12,000 cards, and that might be an exaggeration, I don't know, but she's got a lot of cards, and so she keeps them in tubs, sorts them by country, so she knows exactly which countries have gotten what. So that might be a way to go in the future if I wanted to know how many cards I got from France versus how many cards I've gotten from Estonia and Finland and all the rest. So I don't know. It might happen that way, but it's a good question, and yeah, it's kind of nice to be able to say, okay, what Blue Cat cards do I have, and be able to see them all together. So that's kind of a neat way to sort them too. But I don't know. I'll think about it. People have asked me before, would you change this? Would you do that? Yeah, I'm willing to listen to it and try different things. So why not? I might be able to change the way I do it. I'm not fixed in my habit that I have to do it this way always. It's just this is the way it worked out for me to start when I was just becoming a post-crosser, and now that I'm, I don't know, 200 official cards in and over 500 or 600 swaps, I've got a lot more now to organize. And even like my blank cards, I got blank cards now, which in the past I just kept them in a pocket in one of the binders. I only had maybe 30 cards at a time to pick from. Now, through the generosity of others who have sent me blank cards, I now have a bit of a stack. So when people ask for a certain category, sometimes I have it, not just sending out the same images of Atlantic Canada that I was doing originally when I didn't have very much. So yeah, kind of rambling on and maybe even left the topic a bit, Wendy, but hopefully that answers your question on both Domtar paper, which is the picture on my wall, and how I sort my postcards. So those are my only questions that I have this week. So hopefully you guys will come up with some new questions for next week, and I'll be glad to answer them. Don't forget to send something in for the Queen's Tribute. That'll be great. And this weekend, there's actually 2 festivals going on, so I'm going to try to get to at least one of them, if not both of them, but maybe the second one, because it's running longer, I might get a chance to go at a later date on that too. So what we have is the Hot Air Balloon Festival in Sussex, New Brunswick. That's pretty cool, but the best time to see it is either in like 6 o'clock in the morning or 6 or 7 at night when the balloons go up. So if I get a chance today at supper, and maybe my wife will come with me, who knows, it'd be kind of nice to go out there and see the balloons go up and get some video of the fair that's going on, and the different food and things that are on site that you can get. That's one thing. The other thing we have is the International Kite Festival. It's supposed to be the largest kite festival in the world, and it takes place in Dieppe, which is a city that's right next to Moncton, so Greater Moncton encompasses it. But Dieppe, New Brunswick is one of the holders of this festival, and they share it with Dieppe, France, which is what our Dieppe is named after, based on the sacrifices that we did during the World Wars that were there. So every other year, the Kite Festival is here in Dieppe, New Brunswick. And so this year it's our turn, and with the pandemic, we didn't have it the last few years, so it's glad to have it back again. So I was thinking that I might go out to that. Now, the one thing about the Kite Festival is that you got to go on a day when there's some wind, otherwise there's no kites to show you. So if it's a nice windy day, then I'm going to take a chance and run out there. Now, it runs from today, it starts today, and it goes till the 18th. So if during that period of time, and it's on my mail route too, so I'll be able to judge when I'm delivering the mail what's happening at the Kite Festival. So I might go during the week next week and film that rather than try to get it in this weekend. That's the plan anyways. Plans are subject to change, and I know tomorrow for sure I've got more postcards to write, so I'll do a video on that. I've already gotten 6 official ones that I can send out, and I've got lots of friend mail. I finally got caught up on all the friend mail I had to do from my time off for the 2 weeks, so that is good. Those cards are all done. I'll probably have a post on that, but all these cards have to be mailed. I did 19 of them yesterday, and I've got a stack to answer for tomorrow to do over the next week. So yeah, I'm gonna keep busy, and I know you guys are gonna keep busy by contacting me. I had 3 people today alone ask for direct swaps, which is great. Some new people to talk to and exchange with, different countries. I love that when I can get approach from some new places around the world to talk to people. So and new people that are subscribing to this channel, which I love too. So as of today, we are at 497 subscribers. We're very close to 500. We were even at 499 at one point, but 2 people, I guess, decided they didn't like the content and left. So not sure what that was about, but I know it does happen. So we're still inching closer to that 500 mark. And once we get there, I can open this. I haven't opened it yet, but I'm looking forward to opening it when we get to 500. So make sure you share this. Make sure you share that I want to do the tribute video for the Queen. That message needs to get out there so different countries participate, and email to robertlennox@gmail.com. Have a magical week.
What, Polo? You say like, subscribe, share, and tell all your friends?
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?